Hi, this is Steve Walton from Tropic Heating and PatioHeat.com. Today I'm going to take a look at this restaurant layout, the heating for that restaurant, and make some suggestions on the model number, the model to use, possible angles, and maybe movement of some of their layout that they have for the heaters. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First of all, let's take a look at these dimensions of this restaurant. I'm going to turn this layout a little bit around here. First of all, we have a dimension back here about 30 feet by, I think that's 18 feet by about 37 feet. I have a structure here with a soffit that's approximately 12 feet high. This is about 30 feet open here, and I think 25 over here. So those are our basic dimensions. The heater layouts they have right here are this H18, and as you can see, they have this one here that they've already decided that need to be moved. I think these, I'm not quite sure, possibly are additional heaters, but I think they want them eliminated from that space. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Also, I believe that this is going to be a hard top up here, and then I think this is going to be some type of awning material. So we'll keep an eye on that. And and also this is at a slope over here, so our bottom slope is going to be about 11 feet. But there's also going to be, I believe, some sort of structure that supports this awning, and I'm not quite sure how that structure is, and this might here even be windows or a roll top door, something of that nature, possibly over here as well. So those are also things to take a look at. But yeah, we have this H18 being the heater, so we have 3 over here, 1, 2 back over here. I believe there's one placement over here somewhere. Let's see where that guy is at, back over here. And let me just take this lid off here real quick. Yeah, so here we got one over here and on top of this table here. And then of course the structure over here, they have them in these soffits, and the soffit dimension, I want to throw that in here real quick. Soffit dimension I have at 1 foot 4 inches, which is important if we're going to use a flush mount kit. So something else to look at. Being that the lid is solid over here, it would be nice if we could take this lid here and actually delete it, so we have plenty of air movement. So if that's possible, and we have ability to have air movement, with the lid in place, let's say, we can get that movement of air up here, which would be terrific for the heater's ability to circulate the warm air that's going to be around it better. Putting these heaters inside of the soffits sometimes can be tricky, and it'd be nice to ventilate it as well as possible, get the most life out of it. Alright, so let's just look at the heaters themselves. You can see that I've placed these here central in these openings opposed to what they originally called for. The reason for that is I get a more even ray. I'm not pushed up against the supports here, left and right, and then we don't get as much overlapping between the two as well. So that's why I have them centered. These heaters here I've pushed more, made this like a 4 different sectors, and then place these between those 4 sectors. So you can see here I'm 12.6, and over here I think I'm 16 feet here. So that'll give you an idea. Now what we could do, I do see that there's some seating outside of the structure, and we can get some of that covered, very little, but what I would maybe recommend is when you place these flush mount kits, and you don't have to use this flush mount kit if this is non-combustible, by the way. You could just use the heater with its own bracket here. We could just we can get rid of the flush mount kit entirely, and yeah, well, you get the picture. We can get rid of the flush mount kit entirely. And that's why I brought up the dimensions, because we're short about 2 inches for this flush mount kit. You could cut it off if this is non-combustible, but this will maintain the clearances if it is a combustible material, so you'll need to make sure that you fit that flush mount kit. But what you can do with the flush mount kit is there's little hangers that support the heaters, not the brackets up here, but you could take those little support hangers and move one side higher than the other, so we have an angled heater. So let's see if I can give you an idea of what that would look like. A little bit more difficult than it looks. Oops. So yeah, I'll just make that recommendation. If you just lower one side of the hangers and raise the other side of the hangers, you get maybe 2 or 3 degrees, and that'll allow you to point the heater further into the center of the patio if you wish. Also, the other issue over here on this side here, first of all, we want to make sure that the heaters are always level. On electric heaters, you never want to allow the heater to be mounted on a slope, so that it as it heats up, there's a coil inside of the heater itself, and that coil will bunch up on one side and then droop to that one side, the lower side of whatever that angle is at. So you want to make sure that you're always level on these mounts. And at this particular showing it on the awning itself, I'm at this this height of 10 feet, I believe, which again would call for 10 feet 6 inches roughly, and that would call for a WD-6024 6,000 watt unit. In fact, even if I move this down, let's say 36 inches, our height here is still at that 7.5 feet. That probably is too much, so let's just go 24. Let's see what that does, and that didn't do what I want it to do, so let's go up. I'll move it 12. I'll move it up 12, and so yes, we're at 8 feet 6 inches, which would be perfect for a WD-6024 6,000 watt unit. Now, as you see, these are all stepped up according to this slope here, so 6,000 watt would actually be the highest model that you can get, and that would fit in all these different heights, and you would definitely want to regulate them so that you can say turn these ones down and turn this one up. This is going to be probably one that would always be on high, unless it's a very particular customer who wants just a little bit of heat on a warm day, something of that nature. But and that would be true with these 12 feet mounting height on these particular units. WD-6024 6,000 watt unit. So let's just go ahead and take this lid off again with the ray on. Make sure we're looking at it. So what we're talking about is, I think the customer has deleted these, but I would recommend placing something in here if that the seating area here is required for heating. So, and then also over here, you'll notice that we're not getting any heat in this space here, which adding another heater roughly around here would be fine. So we could, just for instance, take this and, move it over here and put one somewhere in that vicinity so that we can get that extra heat in that space. So those are the recommendations I have. Opening up the soffit, evening out the placement, using this 6,000 watt unit and adding an extra unit here, and possibly angling these slightly with the limited amount of angle you get off of the flush mount kits, and then again making sure that we have the the width to physically place that flush mount itself. And let me just go here real quick. Sorry about that. And look at the width here for you. I'm pretty sure this is an accurate scaled model. And so yeah, 1 foot 5 inches is the bracket itself. And you'll probably want a little bit of finish, or you can physically place stucco finish over this, but I think this soffit's going to be open, so I'm not quite sure how you'd want to do that. But you could actually physically go over this line. You just have to make sure all these air holes are open, and you see there's a little bit of a gap between the heater and the frame itself here. So those are all things that have to stay open for the ventilation. If it is a combustible material, there needs to be a 1 hour rated dead air space, 6 inches of clearance all the way around the heater. Again, follow a manufacturer's instructions for that part of the application. All right, this video is getting a little long, and I apologize for that, but that's what I would suggest on this application. If you have questions, or if you're looking for a personalized heating plan, or just for us to take a look at your existing plan, we'll be happy to do that. I'm Steve Walton. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.